This is day 286 of Zohar al Pshat. We're on Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. This is up to Rabbi Yitzchak, where after parentheses says, "I am a Sofa Sefer Siman Lamed Aleph Masha Kacher Kan," which of course, according to our approach, we don't bother looking there. That's 3, 6, 9, 12. 15, about 16 lines down. Amazing Zohar today. He said, if or and choshech have to serve together, which he said, not yesterday, but a couple of days ago. So then, why are they separated? They need to, now I'm not sure what the alternative would have been, but why are they separated? So, Amalei said, or apik yom, v'choshech api laila. Says, you're right. They shouldn't be separated, but this is how the derivative of or was yom. Derivative of choshech was laila. It had to be separate. In other words, yes, or v'choshech mishtamshim b'revuvia, which normally understands to be a negative thing. It's actually a positive thing. You need or needs choshech, choshech needs or. You have to be able to distinguish one thing from the other thing. You can only play our understanding of one thing off our understanding of the other thing. I think there's a statement, Yedias hapachim achas. In order to understand something, you have to know it and its converse, it and its opposite. But when it came to the bringing the concept of or and choshech into the world, they necessitated the creation of manifestations, how they're going to be brought into this world. And or manifested in Yom and Laila and choshech and Laila, and they have to be separate. Nevertheless, true. They're one unit. They become one. Yom echad. The light of Yom ikun chad. They're called one unit, but you need to have them separate. In a day, you have to have day and night. So that which it says, Kosh Baruch separated between day and night, if after all he united them again. What's Avdallah? Wow. It's at times of Golus. In other words, not that Lila will be daytime, but the illumination of night will be clear to everybody. Everybody understands how night is a luminary, how night is really its own form of or. But in Golus, it can't work that way. In Golus, there has to be a distinction between night and day, and it's the same distinction between Tov and Ra, even though it's not the same parallel, not the same thing. But you have to say this is Kazer Re'eh v'Kadesh. This you see and you say is holy, and Kazer Re'eh v'Tamei, and this you see is not holy. And you have to be able to distinguish things, and there's too subtle a difference between night and day, I'll say level, for it to work at a time of Golus. At a time of Golus, in order to be free will, in order to be Bechir, in order to be Apostle, Kiddush Hashem, and Chil Hashem, in order to be many different things, there has to be day and night starkly different. Eventually it won't be that way. But it's the time of the Golusa when there has to be Pruda. Pruda isn't, of Golus is a negative thing, but also positive things. That's why we have a brach every week about an Havdalah. In order to understand things, you have to have Havdalah. We say that the bracha of Havdalah, Atochan Otanu, is in the bracha of Atochan Das, because there ain't Das Havdalah Minayin. If there's no Das, there's no intellect, there can't be any Havdalah, can't be any separation. But the opposite is true as well. The converse is true. Im ein havdalah das minayin. If you can't be mavdil, how do you get das? Only once you're mavdil, you can say, okay, let's get it back together. We have choshech or yom, choshech laila. Now, vayer vayvok yom echad. But first, it's got to be separate, and then bring it back together again. B'may isparshan. Why are they separate? I skipped. Rabbi Yitzchak, another part of it is that the the influence is the light, and the influenced is the night. Did I say it right? The influence is the day, and the influenced is the night. Or maybe the influencer is the day. Influenced is the night. In other words, we need the whole idea of bringing Or into Cheshach. That's part of our avodah. To know that Or is brought to Cheshach. Of course, then the Cheshach has its own Or. But, and it's perhaps even an illusion that you have to bring the Or into the Cheshach, because you should be able to find the light in the Cheshach. But in any event, we have to understand that's the way the world works. That we bring the specific qualities of Or which work in Cheshach into Cheshach. Not to make Cheshach into Or. The moon and the stars are only visible at night. It's important to have night in order for that light to be visible in a specific way. There's a lot you can say about this Zohar. It's incredible. Again, just like male and female were separated in order that after the davak b'ishto v'el echad, so too night and day are separated in order that they should be davek afterwards. And there's this quality of taking two separate things and being madbik them to each other, which is part and parcel of the basic reason why the world's created, that two things should become one and seen to be one. And that there's what looks like period is really achdus. But my parshan, so why they separate? In order to distinguish between light and darkness, in order to see how we work with them. Misparshan darkin, their madrakes have been separated, but then they become both as one. Amazing statement. There's only light in darkness. There's only darkness in night. And even though they're one, they became separate in their qualities. Nevertheless, Cheshach can only be revealed by Or, and Or can only be revealed by Cheshach. And they work together. And that is the intrinsic paradox, which is the basis of our understanding of life. Everything in this world is a paradox. Light and night and day seem different, they can only work together. Light and darkness can seem different, they only work together. Light seems like light, and darkness is like darkness. No. Light is dark. Light needs darkness, and darkness needs light. And what you think is light is sometimes darkness. You think is darkness is sometimes light. And each one has its own midah. And only together can they make up a whole. Again, this is just touching very, very... We just touched on the surface of the Zohar. It's so deep. There's so much one can say. It's incredible. Okay, but that's it for today.